Welcome to the Reconciler for AR and AP media demo. The purpose of this demo is to provide you with a walkthrough of the Reconciler for AR and AP product and its capabilities. The Reconciler for AR and AP is an automated control account tool for highlighting the cause of any imbalances between the Receivables and Payables modules and the GL control accounts. The Reconciler for AR and AP is an invaluable tool developed to aid accountants that validates transactions for open or closed financial years that have been entered into GP through the Receivables and Payables ledgers. Let's take a look at the software. Firstly, we need to tell the reconciler which control accounts we're going to be using and whether it's for sales, purchases, or purchase discounts. I only have the one GL control account that I'd like to include, but if you have more than one, you can simply select them using the lookup. Let's start with the sales reconciliation. The first thing we need to do is enter the to and from dates for the reconcile. We can then decide if we'd like to include the opening balances. On this occasion, I'm going to exclude them. That means that the reconciler will not pick up any transactions entered before my from date. If I now click the Calculate button, the Reconciler for AR and AP will look in the sales ledger and return the details of all the transactions entered between my from and to dates, and also look within the control accounts and again return the value of all of those transactions. If we hit cross tick, the Reconciler for AR and AP will match all of the documents that it can between the sales ledger and the debtor control. And then if we click Show Exceptions, it will just highlight any imbalances where it cannot create a match. We can then drill down on any of these amounts to see where the transactions are that are causing the problem. Here we can see I just have one standard invoice that is causing my $64 imbalance. And I can drill down on that back to the originating transaction. From here we can take a look at that transaction and decide why it is that it's not as yet reflected in the general ledger. Within this transaction zoom window, we've got a number of options. At the moment we're just showing all the exceptions, which in this case is the one document. However, we can choose to show all transactions within here, which will return a lot more data, and we can choose which view we'd like, whether we want to show one particular type of transaction, all transactions, or maybe just take a look at one other type that we're not looking at already. We can also sort the data by various sort criteria as shown here. Included within this view are a number of columns you can see here with tick boxes. V means it's a void, so if the transaction has been voided there would be a tick in this box. I is included within the general ledger, so if this transaction has been included in the general ledger there will be a tick in the I box. And M means that the amounts match, so if the amount for this transaction within the sales ledger equals the amount within the general ledger there will be a tick in this box. And then if you decide later on that you'd like to exclude this particular transaction from any later reconciliations, you can tick the exclude box for that transaction. At any time, you can choose to put the data into Excel for further analysis by hitting the Excel button, or to print a report. I should just print this to screen for you. And this is the report that you will see. You can also drill down on any amounts that are showing within the debtor control account as imbalances. Here I have an amount which is made up of two different transactions, and again if I choose to I can take a look at the originating journal and see where the problem comes from. Again I can choose to print or export the data to Excel, and I have the different view options so that I can choose what I see within this window. Within the main sales reconciliation window, we can choose to run a daybook listing. That then just shows us any movement within the sales ledger for our period and ignores any details within the general ledger. Let's take a look at a purchases reconciliation. In a similar way to the sales reconciliation, we start by entering the dates. And again, we use the calculate button. This time it will look within the purchase ledger to see any details of any movements within the purchase ledger, and also within the purchase control accounts that we've set up. I decided this time to include my opening balances, so the box here stayed unchecked. You can see now it's returned the details of all transactions that have been entered within GP prior to my from date. I shall run the cross-tick routine to match any transactions, and then show exceptions to pick up any imbalances. If I drill down on those, again we can see the details of the transactions making up the imbalance, and we can drill down to the originating detail transaction. We can change the view as we did previously on the sales reconciliation to show all transactions, and you can see here we have the ticks again. On this particular transaction here we can see that it's included in the general ledger, but the amounts don't match, and that's why the imbalance is there and this transaction is included within the exceptions. The other transactions here that have 2 ticks would not be included as an exception as they are fully matched. That concludes our demonstration of the reconciler for AR and AP. If you have any questions, please do feel free to contact us. You can email sales@swareindex.com or call us on one of these telephone numbers. Thank you.